Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody, and I'm here to give you some fantastic Bitcoin and crypto related news. There's some very interesting things going on this week in the world of cryptocurrency and with Bitcoin. And so we're going to just jump right into it. So, Bitcoin is up about 1% over the last 24 hours. It's been mostly sideways and it has been unable to break any sort of heavy resistance here at 28K. Now, there's something very important going on tomorrow. If we take a look at the Market Watch economic calendar, we can see here that tomorrow we have the Fed interest rate decision, right? And the Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC, is going to be going on tomorrow, Wednesday, and they're going to be Fed Chair Jerome Powell is going to be giving a press conference at 2:30 p.m. Now, that is extremely important for Bitcoin and for crypto. And right now, what we're looking at likely is about a 25 basis point rate hike. Okay, so if we go here and we take a look at the CME FedWatch tool, we can see that the predicted rate is 475 to 500. The current rate is 450 to 475. So 86% of the market is predicting a 25 basis point increase at the next Fed meeting. So tomorrow when they announce it, that is kind of the base case at this point. Now, this is incredibly important because the Fed funds rate affects Bitcoin pretty dramatically. And I've shown this chart several times before, but when it comes down to it is that when the Fed increases interest rates, like they do here in orange, we can see that superimposed against Bitcoin, and we can see that there is strong negative correlation between the two. So as the Fed funds rate rises, Bitcoin tends to fall, and as the Fed funds rate falls, Bitcoin tends to rise. And so what we've seen over the last year or so is a very aggressive Fed funds rate, a very aggressive Fed, and that's put continual price pressure on Bitcoin. So that's why this is so important to see what we're going to see here. Now, it's possible that we do get either a pause at this meeting. That is a possibility, in which case I think that would be also bullish for Bitcoin. And it is also possible that we'll get a pause after this meeting. In the next meeting, I think that would also be very bullish for Bitcoin. So the only thing that would not be bullish for Bitcoin, I think, in my opinion, would be is if they decide to go with 50 basis points, which some people have thought they might do, given the fact that inflation is not yet at the targeted rate of 2%. Now, we also have some really interesting discussions going on here on Twitter about this. Now, Bill Ackman, the famous investor, saying that they should pause on Wednesday due to the ongoing issues with the banking sector. Now, below that, Elon Musk also chimes in and says they actually need to drop rates by 50 basis points. Now, if they actually did that, that would cause a massive rally in quote-unquote risk-on assets, aka cryptocurrencies, aka Bitcoin. Technology stocks would be just off to the races. We'd see a massive increase in that if they wound up dropping by 50 basis points. Now, I don't think that's very likely, but this is something that Elon Musk wants. And again, Bill Ackman, the famous investor, wants a pause. Okay, so there's a lot of really interesting information. There's a lot of different opinions. Unlike the last couple of Fed funds rate, which all seem to be locked in at 25 basis points or 50 basis points, this is entirely different. So what we're gonna wind up seeing tomorrow is we're gonna see some extreme volatility, and we're gonna see during this press conference, we're going to see either the markets jump or the markets fall based on what the Fed says and based on their Fed rate decision. So that is definitely something to be watching out for. All right, so in other news, okay, what we have here is a class action lawsuit against YouTubers and YouTube, they call them FTX influencers. So there is something similar that has happened a couple of months ago when there was a class action lawsuit brought up against like Tom Brady and Matt Damon against FTX. And now what we're starting to see is that they're actually extending this to YouTubers such as Kevin Parath, Graham Stephan, Andre Jack, Jaspreet Singh, Brian Jung, Jeremy Lefebvre, Tom Nash, Ben Armstrong, Erica Kohlberg, and Creators LLC. So what they're looking at here is a $1 billion $1 billion in damages. And they're saying that basically that FTX would pay them to push its brand and advertise, and then basically saying they didn't conduct any due diligence. So that is something that's happened recently. This is something I wanted to talk about specifically because I'm also somebody on YouTube and Twitter that talks about cryptocurrencies. Even though I don't have any sponsored content, I'm not pushing any sort of exchange or anything. This is just something that I wanted to talk about, and I think that this is a very important story to be watching, because if these YouTubers and if people talk about an exchange or a service and it collapses, are they going to be held liable for that? That is a very interesting question to ask, and I will be watching this case very closely. Now, Ben Armstrong, also known as BitBoy, he had come out and said there was a countersuit coming, and he's been, if you follow his account, he's been going after the lawyer that's suing him. So that definitely recommend you guys do your due diligence on this, and anything I talk about when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin, always make sure you do your due diligence, because a lot of the time these YouTubers, they just promote exchanges and services, and they mean well, but they could wind up hurting other people, and especially if one of these exchanges turned out to be or was legitimate and then it turned out to be a scam, then that's also a concern, and that definitely hurts the crypto community as a whole. So definitely recommend you guys do due diligence. Take everything you hear and see on YouTube and Twitter with a grain of salt, and just make sure that you follow your appropriate risk management and risk assessments. So next, I want to talk about what's going on with XRP. So XRP, we go back here and take a look at the charts. XRP is up massively. We're going to go ahead and zoom in here to the daily, and I'm going to get rid of this Fed funds rate. So XRP is up massively right now. What's funny about this is that I drew in this kind of wedge formation back when I did my XRP chart TA, and we've seen it kind of pop right through that level. Now, XRP is up about 25% in a single day, and the reason for that is because there is a possibility that the company associated with XRP, or Ripple, will beat the SEC in this court case. So for those of you that are familiar, the SEC had sued Ripple, and they've said that XRP basically is a security. So we'll see if Ripple actually wins this. Then it's going to affect the crypto space dramatically, because then it's going to be harder for the SEC to prove what's a security and what's not a security. And if something falls under a security, it's also required to have specific regulations done in order for them to be traded. So that's the primary issue at the concern here. So this is a very important case, and the reason why it's jumping over 20% is because there seems to be a lot of bullish momentum that they will actually, some thoughts that they will actually win this case. So if they won that case, definitely something I'm going to talk about, because this is very important for the crypto space and very important when it comes to regulation and figuring out how the SEC is how they're going to define what a security is and what a security isn't, okay? All right, so that's all I've got for you guys today. If you guys like this content, please let me know. Like, subscribe, and go ahead and leave a comment. And let me know what you guys think about XRP. Are you invested? Do you like it long-term or not? What do you think the Fed's going to be doing tomorrow? Definitely interested in hearing about that. And be sure to follow me on Twitter for the most up-to-date information. I'll be covering as much as I can what Fed Chair Jerome Powell says when he gives his press conference tomorrow. This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and I hope to catch you guys in the next video.